Hello, citizens of the verse. I was happy to hear the speaker start talking about the new Titan suit during the last subscribers town hall. This is one of the few things that I'm irrationally excited over getting. It may not end up being the best thing to have or even the most practical, but it's definitely something that's piqued my interest ever since I first heard about it. Apparently the Titan is going to be more of a battle suit rather than a mech, and has been described as a shock trooper or heavy assault amongst the ground forces. It seems that progress has moved along with it in the sense that it's already been given a proper high-poly 3D model and has been rigged up with what ended up totaling over 120 different pistons. The one snag was the weapons and how it affects its ability to travel through the environment. Of course they want it to look a certain way when you're in the suit, and how it holds these weapons is a big part of that. The issue revolved around how it grasped the weapons at the end of the arms and held them forward. The effect looked awesome, and it pleased me to hear that one of my hopes for this armor ended up becoming a reality, which is that it could allow a foot soldier to wield one or possibly even two size 1 weapons that were designed to be mounted onto a ship. The way that Sean Tracy was holding his arms while gesturing them in a mimicking display of how the Titan held its weapons made it look like the suit could dual wield a pair of weapons simultaneously, by carrying one in each hand. This would make it a beast to deal with when battling within the confines of any enclosed structure where the ships can't follow. The trouble with this is that even a size 1 ship weapon could easily span out to be 1 to 2 meters long. This would cause the overall length of the Titan to measure out to be something like 15 scale feet from the back of the armor to the tip of the gun, which means that it wouldn't be able to turn when walking down a hallway, and its huge turning radius would easily prevent it from moving around within the interior space of most structures. There's a lot of obvious answers that could be applied to fixing this problem, but unfortunately there's still a lot more pressing issues that need to be worked on in this game. This snag meant that, for the time being, they've taken the Titan armor as far as they can within the allotted time that was set aside for this sprint. The good news is that this is an important asset and the concept will not be abandoned just because they came across a snag during its first implementation, which is actually a common thing to happen in general game design. The important thing is that this brought up a lot of important questions for them to tackle and work out ahead of time in preparation for the next sprint. Questions like, if they want a specific look, size, and feel, then how do they accomplish that without compromising its original design? Where can this suit go? Can it fit into a ship? Is it supposed to fit into a ship? Is it stored like cargo, or can it just walk around like you normally would? These are questions that are always going to be in the back of your mind, but are undeniable once it's in-engine and can be seen moving about in the greater context of the gaming world. A good portion of people don't understand that ideas are an iterative process, and rarely, no matter how much preemptive work you put into them, are going to be ready to go live after their first test. Despite these issues, the initial design isn't going to change much, with the exception to how it handles the problems that this sprint presented. The idea was to, next time, keep the concept intact while reducing the Titan's size to better fit the environment. There's always going to be a workaround for every problem, it's just going to take time for it to get implemented. The Titan armor was intended to create a way to place human soldiers on a more equal, if not superior footing when dealing with Vandal infantry soldiers, which when placed side by side next to one another was referred to as looking intimidating. I don't know what would make a Vandal feel intimidated, but whatever it is, I want one. The one thing that I found most appealing about the Titan is that it acts like a hybrid that sits halfway between a vehicle and a piece of armor. It's a level of protection which comes with an interface that will allow you to set priorities between avionics, which in this case would be movement speed, its ability to AVI, or capacity to use jump jets, the shield, or your weapons, which would also mean that it would come stock with some kind of personal shielding unit, and unlike the open canopy racers, this suit is going to have to be equipped with some kind of life support system. From their description, the initial version of the Titan is most likely going to end up being a unique design that's made by a single manufacturer. And I was wondering if this is going to be unveiled as the product of a new in-game corporation, or is it going to be made by a pre-existing one? So far, Aegis and Anvil hold a majority of the military contracts, so if it isn't a new corporation that's manufacturing the Titan, then they would be the most likely candidates to be responsible for its construction. Either way, this could pave the way for other corporations to create their own competitive versions of the Titan armor and imbue it with their own personal style. For instance, an Aegis suit would be sleek and powerful looking like a Gundam, while a Drake suit would probably look more like something that was designed by a Warhammer orc. Anvil seems to be more suited towards creating something with more of a mech warrior feel. And Origin's contribution would probably have seat warmers and a leather interior. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, please subscribe if you haven't already to be made aware of when new content is available, and leave a like if you enjoyed what you've seen. And I hope to be seeing you again in the next video.